Okay. Good morning, everyone. We'll start in just a couple seconds after all the attendees are allowed into the room. Okay, I think we're all set. So welcome to the 13th Annual CUNY Accessibility Conference. We're going to be hearing some welcoming remarks from the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, and I hope you enjoy the remarks.
Welcome everyone to this year's 13th Annual CUNY Accessibility Conference. My name is Lenine Jacob, and I am a Latina woman with long hair, brushed to the side, and black glasses. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I am a student at Bronx Community College, and I am also the chair of the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, CCSD, a university-wide organization that represents over 11,000 students with disabilities. I am joined by my CCSD executive board members, and I would like to ask each member to introduce themselves, their roles in CCSD, along with their campus and preferred pronouns.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leonard Blades. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a Black man with short hair wearing a long sleeve green shirt. I am also a current student at the CUNY School of Professional Studies, and I proudly serve as the Executive Vice Chair for the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, CCSD.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xavier Santiago. I am a Hispanic male with a goatee and goatee headphones with black hair, and I am a student at Lehman College. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I am the Vice Chair Recruitment for CCSD.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Jr. Alvarez. My pronouns are he, his, and him. I go to Lehman College. I am the CCSD liaison.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arlene Basant, and I'm a proud student at LaGuardia Community College. I currently serve as the Vice Chair of Finance for the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, CCSD. I'm a brown-skinned Indo-Caribbean female with my hair pulled back with a black shirt on. My preferred pronouns are she, her.
Thank you so much, team. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to this team of amazing students who work tirelessly as leaders, advocates, and friends. And the CUNY Accessibility Planning Committee under the leadership of Chancellor Felix Matos Rodriguez, Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Dr. Denise Maybank, and so many others. The truth is, they make me look good. I, along with my amazing leadership team, and so many others here today, are honored to welcome you to the opening session for this week's annual Accessibility Conference. The conference theme for 2022 is the state of accessibility. Are we living up to the promise of compliance and the law? As presenters and students, we appreciated and embraced this theme and actively chose to take on this challenge. Not only to look at the state of CUNY as an institution, the largest urban university in the country, but it was also an opportunity for us as the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities to take time to reflect on ourselves. We already know that there are problems and concerns to address, but we wanted to do more than complain. We wanted to explore how we can have a positive impact on our campuses, at this university, in this state, and in this country. With this theme, we look forward to hearing from professionals on topics such as, are we meeting the promise? Have we fallen short? Interpretations and advancements in law that we did not anticipate, and how can we move on beyond a legal framework of accessibility to foster an empowered disabled community that embraces all aspects of our identity. At CCSD, we embrace disabled students using identity-first language for students who identify as LGBTQI+, student parents, people of color, veterans, immigrants, and so many others. While the medical model of disability has its place, we are here to celebrate all aspects of disability pride with strategies that encourage universal design, learning, and leadership. Now, to start us off, I'd like to discuss higher education as we explore its role in living up to the promise of accessibility. When I think of higher education, I wonder, what drives students to its pursuit? The goal is clear. We pursue higher education for its promise of a better future. But what does this mean? It means we, students, go to college to obtain a degree that can help us get a job and take care of our families. It's not about a piece of paper. It's not about an institution stating that we can now work in a particular field. It's about obtaining the skills required and the knowledge needed to excel in that particular field. All students have this expectation. Disabled students are no exception. We too expect that our institutions of higher education, in compliance with the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, will do what is reasonably required to ensure that disabled students are afforded the same learning opportunities as every other student. In higher education, we can see this through the vast array of accommodations offered across all universities and campuses nationwide. These accommodations include a combination of services and assistive technology for students with various needs. Most importantly, these are accommodations that are meant to level the playing field and ensure that all individuals are reasonably afforded what they actually need as they work towards obtaining and developing the skills necessary to be successful in their classes, their future jobs, and ultimately, life within our society. There's a saying, money makes the world go round. And when it comes to the ability to make these accommodations available to students by way of services or technology, we cannot deny that there is a cost attached. In order for institutions of higher education to provide these much needed accommodations to students, there needs to be adequate funding available. In that regard, CUNY is no different. At CCSD, we opted to take a deeper dive into who and where these funds came from. This led us straight to the New York State Legislature. At that point, it was all about educating ourselves and developing strategies to advocate where decisions were being made. This was necessary to take our rightful seat at the table in order to make change. We needed to ensure that CCSD, a university-wide student group that works in partnership with others in an effort to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion for proud disabled students, faculty, and staff, made the effort to voice the concerns that affected our disability community. We then intentionally, and in coalition with others across the state, connected with decision makers in an effort to have a positive impact on policy in our university, the city, and the state of New York. This became about giving the disability community a voice, and along with that voice, ensuring that we held everyone accountable as we move towards the promise of accessibility. Thanks to these efforts, which have been a long time coming. Last year, we received $2 million towards additional funding for disability services and $150,000 towards the LEADS program, which stands for Linking Employment, Academics, and Disability Services. This year, another $2 million has been added to the budget and $320,000 for LEADS. That's a total of $4.5 million for higher education across the state of New York. We at CCSD consider that a higher education victory and proof that we are living up to the promise. Now, I'd like to pass it over to Leonard. Leonard?
Thank you so much, Lenine. Yes, we must make sure we are all living up to the promise. So in an effort to live up to the promise, we must first look within ourselves and ensure that among all our intersectionality, we are owning our disability. I cannot stress this enough. Our communities already navigate society identifying as gender proud, race proud, and sexuality proud, but it's equally important that we feel disability proud. That's right. We cannot be afraid to say the word disabled. We must carry it with pride. Disability doesn't make us limited. It doesn't make us less than. It doesn't fully define who we are as individuals. But it is very much an important part of our identity, such as our race, our gender, our culture. And as such, there is an importance that must be placed upon it. However, many may wonder how owning your disability comes into existence. Are we just born proud disabled individuals, or do we nurture and breathe this aspect of our identity into existence? For me, owning my disability, like for many others, came about as something I had to nurture. It came about in the form of acceptance. Sure, I was born with my disability, and while you may wonder, being born with it, what did I have to accept? Well, I had to accept myself exactly as I was, regardless of what others saw or thought. It wasn't until I was able to achieve this that I began to feel powerful in my own right as an individual. It wasn't until I accepted myself and my disability that I was able to move out of my own way to try and pursue things I never dreamed of. As I continue to grow into this deep level of disability ownership, I found myself growing in other ways. I was developing myself socially. I was coming out of my shell. I was no longer thinking that I couldn't do this or that. In fact, this deep ownership encouraged a sense of self-advocacy that I had never experienced before. I found I needed to speak up about my needs. I need to speak up about my wants, and most importantly, my desires. Suddenly, the pursuit of dreams and aspirations didn't seem that far off. It was important that I acknowledge that acceptance and ownership required that I connected to my community for support. I need to educate myself on matters that not only affected me, but others like me. There was a level of cultural appreciation I needed to cultivate if I wanted to strive to understand all members of the disability community. Then I realized that as I wanted them to be my supportive community, I needed to be the same for them. I needed to provide them the support I now knew I could. So I engaged in student leadership. I held positions in organizations and committees that affected change and provided others with a voice. And I have to tell you, I was truly grateful and humbled to be that voice. My purpose became to encourage others who, like me, to own their disability. Now, before I pass it off to the next speaker on this awesome CCSD leadership team that I am honored to be a part of, I'd like to share a video that shows CCSD at a CUNY athletics wheelchair basketball game where students shared their experiences. This video showcases student athletes owning their disability and allowing themselves to do what they love. We hope you enjoy it. Hit it, Char!
Hello, my name is Janine Jacob, and I am the chair of the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, CCSD, a CUNY-wide student organization that represents and advocates on behalf of disabled students, and the first student organization in the state to advocate for an inclusive athletics program and encourage our university to invest in it. It's amazing now having an inclusive basketball league at CUNY, and as we reopen, we can come together as friends and allies to enjoy the roar of filled auditoriums. It's about inclusion, representation, and community. We hope our elected officials will continue to invest in us, proud disabled students, with inclusive athletics and beyond.
Let me touch down, I'ma get it. 'Cause I been waiting all night to make it go from the friend zone to the end zone. Tryna take it to the house, baby, let's go. 'Cause I been waiting all night. It's game time. I'm a hustler, baby. Why you think they pay me? Let me know when you're ready to roll. Do 180 in the gray Mercedes, South Beach, where they love me the most. And you know they gon' watch me ballin' like a Michael Jordan and always win like he did in the fourth. When the shots is falling and the phones recording, yeah, you know that we doing the most. We gon' make it rain, 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 like we won a championship game. We gon' need some more champagne to take it all away. It's about to go down. In a minute, let me touch down. I'ma get it. 'Cause I been waiting all night.
We practice 3 days a week, Monday and Wednesday in Queens, and here at Hostos on Fridays.
To the house, baby, let's go. 'Cause I been waiting all night. It's game time. I'ma let you shop until your fingers sore. I'ma bought a credit card made from NBA floor. Hey, it's game time and I'm in the pros. Nah, me and your ex can't have the same score. Tryna hit the end zone from the friend zone.
Since I've been playing, this has been like a second family to me. Every time we get on the court, we have fun and we work hard.
We gon' make it rain, 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 like we won a championship game. We gon' need some more champagne to take it all away. It's about to go down.
I think it's about laying a foundation and establishing a culture and then working from there.
Ain't all night to make it go from the friend zone to the end zone. Tryna take it to the house, baby, let's go. 'Cause I been waiting all night. It's game time. Step back. Crossover going hard in the bank. Hit that money in the bank.
You know, once you find that fit, a place like CUNY where we recognize you as a student athlete, this is a great place for you to come play and come get your degree.
Our goal at CCSD has always been to ensure that all New York students are participants in every element of the richness of this great city university and all it has to offer. We stay hopeful for more to come. Thank you, and go Team CUNY.
Love that video. Thank you, Charmaine, for sharing that. And now it is my privilege to turn it over to our awesome CCSD Vice Chair of Recruitment, Mr. Xavier Santiago.
Thank you, Leonard. Wow. Wheelchair basketball. I was at that game, and what a great game it was. And while that video is a great representation of owning your disability, it is also a great example of what student empowerment can look like. As we focus on the promise of accessibility, we can't forget the importance of student empowerment. Student empowerment includes learning, teaching, and leadership, with contributions from professors, counselors, mentors, and peers. We do so not with buzzwords or sound bites, but with guidance and opportunity both in class and through experiential learning. That's right. We need to continuously provide opportunities for students becoming empowered in all aspects of the college experience. CCSD has encouraged inclusion, access to technology, professional development, and so many other skills through student-created and staff-supported events. We have identified advocacy opportunities for our students, ensuring that they develop a vast array of abilities over time to become successful advocates. Motivated students partnering with engaged, supportive faculty and staff is our recipe for success. Now, I'd like to pass it to Junior for further information on this topic.
Thank you, Xavier, so much. I am a proud disabled Latino man, and I believe in student empowerment. I want to tell you about a student with multiple disabilities. He was told he would never graduate high school or go to college. He thankfully graduated high school, and thanks to a mentor, applied to college at CUNY. His first year, he felt lonely, and he doubted he could do it, but he took it one day at a time. Then he heard of a club of disabled students and thought, wow, folks just like me. Being part of this community club was one of the best decisions he made. He found friends that were supportive and helped him navigate higher educational resources and options. Most importantly, they believed in him. The experience led him to students, faculty, and staff who helped him not only reinforce his understanding of how to navigate and thrive in college, but it offered more. And understanding his pass or fail was completely up to him. With the right accommodations and commitment, he too could do well, both inside and outside the classroom. The young man was able to graduate from a community college with a 3.7 GPA and now attends a senior college in the Bronx, one of the poorest districts in the country. I'm proud to say that student is me, and there can be so many others like me, given ADA accommodations and support. It was through my involvement with CCSD that I learned how to be a leader, empower myself and others, to advocate on behalf of the 11,000 students with disabilities. Empowering our students is a skill that they will use for a lifetime, not just a few semesters. Thanks to all my peers at CUNY and SUNY and across the state, I always value the lifelong friendships made through service, advocacy, and empowerment. I'm a proud resident of New York City, where we are a true melting pot of cultures and identities. The disability culture is vast and diverse. We are that beautiful mosaic. It is important that we recognize our intersectionality, not to deny who we are or what we are. Proud disabled students and New Yorkers. My abuela, my grandmother, used to tell me as a child, colors are made for taste, like my mother's food, flavorful. There is so much flavor and diversity in the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, CCSD. I encourage everyone to take a taste and join us on our social medias. On Instagram and Twitter, we are CCSD_advocate. And on Facebook, we are the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities. We are always looking to add flavor. Now to you, Arlene.
Thank you so much, Junior. This video is a popular song that we thought really represented how we feel. It has several pictures displaying student engagement, from disabled students all across New York State. Special thanks to Musicality. We hope you enjoy it. Shar, hit it.
This is me. We are 70,000 disabled students attending college in New York State. This is me.
This is me. We are 3 million disabled Americans living in New York State. This is me.
This is me. Disabled college students coming together to ask New York State legislators to invest $15 million in our future. This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for real glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come.
Thank you, Shar, for sharing that amazing video. One of the many wonderful things about being a part of our university-wide student leadership team of CCSD is that we all take on tasks, both large and small. We aren't limited to our titles. As Vice Chair of Finance, I've also been responsible for our social media platforms. We use social media to connect and keep our members informed and engaged, and make every effort to ensure accessibility, cultural identity, resources, and more. Please consider following us on social media on Instagram and Twitter at CCSD_advocates. On Facebook, we are the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, and we even have a TikTok. We are UDLL CUNY. We have also been fortunate to have CUNY recognize our efforts and establish employment opportunities for us through the Universal Design, Learning, and Leadership Project. Honestly, it has really been helpful. Some of our members have been able to engage in leadership opportunities while gaining real-life work experience in a supportive and nurturing environment as we continue our education in the hopes of securing employment in the future. All key experiences that we will cherish. We also encourage members, even through social media, about techniques and strategy to advocate for themselves and others. We remind members to be mindful of what they share on social media, because as we may see it, so can a potential employer. Shar always says, don't share anything on social media you wouldn't want your college president or religious leader to see. I have found that very helpful. I would now like to share a video of former university provost, Dr. Alexandria Logue.
Dr. Logue, thank you so much for joining us today. The students, and I admit myself, are extremely excited to be able to have you, and thank you so much in advance for dedicating time to be able to share the experience that the students so richly have heard all the wonderful stories. They know all about you. They're hoping to one day actually be able to meet you in person. They know about your book. But they were hoping that you'd be able to share a little bit of that rich history that you were able to experience firsthand by partnering with myself and the students to make Pathways a reality.
Well, thank you so much, Charmaine. It's a great pleasure to be able to have this opportunity to congratulate CCSD students on the amazing victory that they had with Pathways. CCSD is a student organization that's filled with highly dedicated and brave people. And I know this from personal experience, as you alluded to. Around 2011 at CUNY, we were working to institute Pathways, which, as probably everybody knows, is a set of policies to improve the transfer of credits within CUNY. I was leading this initiative as CUNY's Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost, under the supportive shield of Chancellor Matt Goldstein. Now, the institution of these policies was exceedingly controversial. Some faculty were highly opposed to them, as described in the book that you mentioned, Pathways to Reform, Credits and Conflict at the City University of New York, which was published by Princeton University Press. During the process of instituting Pathways, we had several public hearings at which anyone could speak about what we were proposing. CCSD always had speakers at these hearings in support of Pathways. Despite negative comments from multiple faculty and large, mostly hostile audiences, these CCSD students got up in front of everyone and said why pathways should be instituted. These students knew from personal experience how having to repeat a course after transferring because the credit didn't count at the new college was a horrible burden because of time wasted and because the type of financial aid that many CCSD students receive won't pay for repeated courses. CCSD students, like all CUNY students, have to deal with many challenges. Adding credit transfer on top of that, which is the responsibility of CUNY, is an unnecessary and undeserved and unjustified burden. As CCSD after CCSD student got up to testify, it was impossible not to be moved by what they said. For example, one student, using no notes, spoke eloquently and passionately about how pathways would help her and all other CCSD students get the degrees that they wanted and deserved. The courage of CCSD students was exhibited then, and it is still exhibited today. Thanks to CCSD on their critical role in getting pathways approved, policies which are now an accepted and integral part of the CUNY landscape. And the transfer work they helped start has grown into new work, such as the development of Transfer Explorer, our online tool, which shows everyone how every course transfers to every CUNY college. Thank you, CCSD.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Dr. Logue. You will continuously live in both our memories with you and Chancellor Goldstein and so many others, but you also live in our hearts. And we're so fortunate to right now have you also as a professor at the university, and we'll definitely Google CUNY T-Rex. So thank you so much.
Good, thanks, Charmaine.
Thank you, Dr. Logue, for your kind words and leadership. I encourage all our students to utilize CUNY Transfer Explorer, or as we like to Google, CUNY T-Rex. It is a very useful tool, and we appreciate the work it took to get us here today. We all benefit from the victories of those who came before us. We encourage participation in all this year's conference has to offer, and we hope you join us on Thursday, April 14th at 1:45 p.m., where we will be joined by powerful advocates from the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities and a CCSD alum. Thank you to all, and we hope you enjoy the conference. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
What an inspiring message from our students. And a special thanks to CCSD for their welcoming remarks, and to Musicality Choir that sang in the video we just played for you all. Please join us for our first session at 12 p.m. a little later today, using the same Zoom conference link that you used to attend this session. We look forward to seeing you all soon and hope you enjoy this year's conference. Take care, everyone. Vic or Terry, can you close the link?
You want me to end?
Yes, please.